Every time I wanted to learn to swim, my coach would turn me down. I couldn't understand why a pool clearly marked for ladies only was taken over by a group of men every single day. Furious, I asked my father about it.
Little girls don't swim around things.
It turned out that in America, in 1914, women had to dress conservatively. Swimming was considered nearly impossible for women. Unable to withstand my relentless campaign, my father finally gave in. I got my wish to wear a modest swimsuit, and the moment I entered the water, I fell in love with the sport. One day, the town held a swimming competition. Even though more than a decade had passed, women's sports were still not taken seriously, with most events being exclusively for men. I boasted that even my sister could beat them. A nearby coach overheard me.
Boys only. See no dog paddle. Maybe she could race a German Shepherd.
My mother was furious when she heard this. She decided to support my sisters and my swimming dreams. We found a swimming team exclusively for women. Watching their strokes, I saw the front crawl a stroke considered solely for men. The coach said she was dedicated to changing women's status in society. After observing our swimming, the coach thought my sister was barely acceptable but deemed me too frail. However, after our persistent pleas, she agreed I could stay on one condition. I had to fire the boiler for them every single day. My sister quickly stood out in the swim team. Meanwhile, my days were spent hauling coal and tending the boiler. I could only practice twice as hard in my limited spare time, and during breaks, I went to the ocean for extra training to welcome an Australian women's swimming champion. Our small town made an exception and hosted a women's swimming competition. Lacking competition experience, I made a major mistake right at the starting dive. Everyone's eyes were on my sister, while I could only push forward with all my might, quietly overtaking one opponent after another. Soon, I emerged in the lead during the latter half of the race, and the crowd began cheering for me. At that moment, no one realized I would become a legend in the future. From then on, my career sailed smoothly. I broke national records multiple times. One day, the chairman of the Olympic Committee personally visited my home. He wanted me to represent the country at the 8th Olympic Games in Paris. My sister, however, was not selected. I had to join the Olympic team alone. Very quickly, I experienced the differential treatment toward women. The training facilities on the ship were only open to the boys. The coach didn't even allow female athletes to move freely on the deck. More ridiculously, female athletes were only permitted to compete using the breaststroke. At the 1924 Paris Olympics, I and the other female athletes didn't get to enter the water for a full 20 days until right before our events.